Good morning, everybody. We have a lower trade in the grain markets here early on Thursday morning. It is 6. Good morning, everybody. We have a lower trade in the grain markets here early on Thursday morning. It is 6:30 a.m. Central Time. March corn futures down 1.5 at 493.5. March soybeans are down a half cent at 1361. March Chicago wheat down 4.25 at 643.25. March Kansas City wheat down 2 cents at 601.5. March spring wheat down 3.75 at 602.5. So the market's taking a little bit of a breather here this morning. If you did not see yesterday's conversation with Ken Morrison, it's called Money, Money, Money. It's on the podcast, it's on the YouTube, and also on Facebook. Make sure you watch or listen to that conversation. I think it's very important stuff. The positioning, the influence of large speculative money in these grain markets, what's going on currently, the impact of the US dollar, all that stuff. This is a really good conversation that you should definitely watch or listen to if you have not already. And remember, guys, if you like these videos, if you like the content I'm putting out here, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe on the podcast so you're made aware when new content is available. I would very much appreciate that. I'll start off with the EIA report yesterday. Ethanol production was actually up just marginally on the week at 935,000 barrels per day. That was up like a tenth of a percentage point on the week. Still, I think 12% below the same week last year. Ethanol stocks actually declined marginally. The trade had expected an increase. Ethanol stocks up 3.7% versus the same week last year. Gasoline demand was the worst since late May. Implied demand there was down about 8.5% on the week, down 8.6% versus the same week last year. So we still have some problems here, certainly when it comes to ethanol. There are a lot of struggles here. I discussed the closure of that plant at Cedar Rapids earlier this week. That could be a sign of things to come. Production margins, depending on how you crunch them, and of course they're different for every plant, are really ugly. There's not a plant in the country that can make money given today's margins. Now, of course, if they locked in forward margins, maybe that's a different story. But given spot margins, this is an ugly deal, and it could get worse, certainly. And of course, like I've said before, you'd never know it by looking at corn futures that the biggest segment of your demand base has major problems. So still some struggles there, certainly. Extended forecasts, weather forecasts look better for Brazil and Argentina. Most of Brazil is going to be quite a bit drier than normal over the next 7 days or so. Argentina is going to see mostly normal rainfall during that same period. Now, your more extended time frame, like say January 13th through the 19th or 20th, mostly normal rainfall for Brazil and mostly normal rainfall for Argentina. Traders expect USDA to reduce South American crop estimates across the board: Brazil corn, Brazil soybeans, Argentina corn, Argentina soybeans. Traders expect those numbers to come down on Tuesday morning in the report. I'll talk a little bit more about that in detail tomorrow and Monday morning. USDA's attaché office in Brazil did reduce their soybean production estimate. They're at 131.5 from 133 previously. That estimate is mostly in line with what traders are expecting, something in that 131 to 132 range on Tuesday morning from USDA. And keep in mind, the previous record crop in Brazil was 126, so we're still talking about a fairly substantial increase versus the previous record, largely because of a big increase in acreage, not necessarily because the yields are going to be fantastic. The US dollar is a little bit higher this morning. The dollar's been very weak overall, and this has been a big influence on the market, in my opinion. The most well-followed version of the dollar index has lost a good 10% since that first COVID stimulus was signed in late March. Still, the dollar or the dollar index has been able to at least hold those 2018 lows. If we break out below those 2018 lows in the dollar index, that would be a bad sign for the dollar and perhaps some additional positive news for the commodity markets. You know, the grain markets have been real strong, but there are some other commodities that haven't really played along as well. You know, crude oil is still at $50, which is the best it's been since January, but it's still not a great price. You know, you look at the cattle market, still nothing really great going on there. So So not every commodity has performed well, but the grain markets certainly have, of course. USDA will release its weekly export sales report this morning at 7:30 Central Time, of course. Corn sales expected 600,000 to 1.2, soybean sales 400 to 800 expected, wheat sales 250 to 500. Looking at the cattle market, we had kind of a mixed bag on the close yesterday. Not a little bit of volatility. I heard about a little bit of cash cattle trade at 112, but I don't think that's enough to establish a trend by any means. So we'll see what develops here today. We did have a nice rebound in the cattle market there 2 days ago. Stock market's a little bit higher ahead of the cash open. All the stuff going on in Washington. Biden was certified last night. You would think that maybe there would be some jitters in the equities and in some of these financial markets, and there really haven't been. The Dow's up 100 points, the S&P's up 17, the bonds are down a little bit. Again, U.S. dollars up a little bit. Crude oil's up 28 cents, 50.91 in the Feb WTI. Precious metals are up just a little bit. Remember, if you need some more information from me, go to my website. It is www.standardgrain.com. Go to that website, click on Grain Marketing Plan here in the upper right-hand corner. $49 a month. You should sign up. I will send you my morning email. It goes out every business day at 6:30 Central Time in the morning. I'll let you know any overnight headline, breaking news, and of course everything I'm doing in regard to grain marketing, corn, soybeans, wheat, marketing advice broken down by crop year, by percentage. It's very specific. It's accompanied by a text message service. You can cancel that deal at absolutely any time. No other fee, no other obligation. Certainly check that out. Everyone have a wonderful day today. I will talk to you on Friday morning.